An essential standard is a statement which explains the minimum standard that Save the Children International demands of us when setting up our operational structure and delivering our organizational mandate. They include compliance with local laws and registration, compliance with international laws and regulations, legal compliance reporting. Together, these essential standards address our moral, ethical, and legal obligation to ensure we 1. Prohibit transactions with or support for prohibited parties, and 2. Prohibit funds or property being used for the purposes of terrorism. Save the Children International must also ensure that partners comply with these same minimum standards, because these international policies have been set up to align to external laws. Compliance with local laws and regulations. Compliance with local laws and registration means that Save the Children International complies with non-governmental organization and charity laws and all other relevant laws such as tax and employment law. Compliance with international laws and regulations means that Save the Children International is aware and complies with policy related to prohibited transactions. Non-government organization, charity laws and regulation. Labor, employment law, and tax law, including exemptions. Government bilateral agreements. Visa, work permit, and customs clearance requirements. And have identified appropriate local legal counsel to provide advice on identifying and dealing with local law and regulation when required. Compliance with international laws and regulations is the second essential standard. This requires that country offices are aware of and compliant with international laws and regulations which Save the Children is obliged to fulfill and which are applicable to their operations, as outlined in Save the Children International's legal compliance policies. A prohibited transaction includes any connection with any terrorist activity, any financial transaction or other dealing that supports a prohibited party, any arrangement, whether intentional or not, by which SCI funds or property are being used for purposes of terrorism. A prohibited transaction would often involve funds ending up in the hands of a prohibited party, e.g., illicit diversion of funds by a prohibited party or inadvertent transfer of funds to a prohibited party who might be a vendor, partner, or employee of Save the Children. Compliance with this essential standard means complying with anti-fraud, bribery, and corrupt practices, managing legal claims, and protecting data and retaining documentation. Money laundering. Because Save the Children is a charity, some individuals or organizations who wish to make the proceeds of their crime look legitimate might try to manufacture circumstances in which to transfer money in and out of Save the Children. Once money has come out of a Save the Children bank account, it would be much harder for the authorities to show that it is the proceeds of crime, and the money would be considered to be laundered. Criminals might attempt to process the proceeds of different types of criminal activity through Save the Children, including drug trafficking, tax evasion, or terrorism. Examples to watch out for include any payment from an organization, e.g., an implementing partner, that wants funds to be held in a Save the Children bank account for any period of time and then returned to the first organization or passed to another organization, known as conduit funding. This might arise in the context of reimbursement of funds to a supplier or partner, or any payment that has other unusual conditions attached or that may represent the proceeds of a crime. All personal data must be kept secure, both in physical and electronic form. Only personal data that needs to be retained for business reasons should be stored by Save the Children. Save the Children will also retain all documents produced in the course of its business for the appropriate amount of time based on law or good practice. The third essential standard is around legal compliance reporting. This requires country offices report to the Save the Children International legal team information in accordance with the timelines set out in those policies on the following key areas. Prohibited transactions. Immediate, less than 24 hours, incident reporting, and provision of employee, partner, and supplier information for vetting prior to engagement. Fraud, bribery, and corrupt practices. Immediate, less than 24 hours incident reporting. Legal claims, status of existing claims and new claims. Whistleblowing claims, incident logged at country office level.